Angela.
Hey, Chandra, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm really excited about this conversation. And so, just so you know, I'm just going to tell you in this talk, I'm calling you Health Coach Angela. Okay. Is that
Okay,
okay?
that is more than okay because that's who I am. Yep.
Yes, yes, that is who you are. I actually met you, and I'm not at all remiss to share this. We met what maybe I'm going to say 4 years ago, if I think back to what was going on in my life, maybe 4, maybe 5 years ago, where it was through relationship. In fact, through a doctor and friend of mine, quite frankly. Um, and I was dealing with an immediate health need and scare for me, where, because I had acid reflux after baby number 3, that became more continuous and ongoing. My doctor at the time prescribed me this Prilosec type drug, which was okay for your acid reflux, but never had an expiration date. So here I am on this drug for too long. And it took some really good doctor friends of mine to say, get off that drug. Not because the drug isn't useful for its purpose, but because the useful life of that drug has an expiration period. So anybody out there that has acid reflux, suffers with acid reflux, I'm telling you, if you've been prescribed a medicine to like be on in perpetuity, question it, okay? And know that doing anything in perpetuity can be depleting to our natural stores of minerals and all the goodness, right? So, yeah.
Right.
So I was steered to you because you are health coach Angela.
Yep. See, with medication, it's always they have their purpose, but I always believe there is a side effect to every medication. And yeah, food be thy medicine, like
Well, and
try.
that was the
Yep.
thing, Angela. You have such a purposeful viewpoint around food as medicine, almost to the point that, you know, before going nuclear into trying other alternatives, you do encourage people to start with food as medicine. Tell me a little bit, tell us a little bit about food as medicine in that context.
Well, I can only say it's by experience. I had to learn it the hard way. And
You
yeah,
had to learn it the hard way?
yep,
What?
I
Okay.
went through the ringer and I had no guidance. And the interesting part was when I started out, my journey started when I was a teenager. And it was always in my head, the weight loss aspect. But by doing crazy things, I got into major health issues. And I really had to, yeah, put a stop on everything and said, this is enough. And it added up, more medications, more health issues, more stress. And there was always just a quick fix, always a quick fix, always. And then from one to the next until my body just said no more. And I was extremely underweight at that point. And yeah, I ended up in the hospital where I actually had to, and yeah, that's not the pretty side, but this is how it started.
Well, keep it real. This is proven
Yep.
not perfect. We actually take it
So
off.
yeah, so that's how it actually started. And I went back in Germany to a nutrition school. And
Wow.
I wanted to learn everything about nutrition to fix myself, to get healthy. And I would say, like, you named the diet, I did it.
Wow.
I truly like, and I grew up in the time where, I mean, there you can see how old I am. The
It's
fat
all
free,
good because you're still here.
I'm still here. I'm going strong.
Yes.
But everything had to be fat free. I was cutting out all the fat and fat free snacks and whatever snack. Well, only 100 calories, like this kind of stuff. And I actually had no, I've never felt content or happy. I was chasing food. I was consumed with food. I was always thinking about food. And it was the constant battle in my head. Should I eat this? Should I not eat this? Is this good? Is this not? Is this too much? Is this too little? Like, it was confusing. And there is a lot of information out there. And like I said, back in the day,
too much. It's
Mhm.
almost too much. Yeah.
Yes, I feel it's way too much. And back to the basic and actually listening to your body and connecting to, this is a big part of my life as well, connecting to nature and really, like I said, being in tune with yourself. I learned at the beginning all the science of food and what food can do and how it can heal. And that's how I started healing myself. But then the better you get, the more you learn, the more in tune you get. It's like actually cleaning, how can I say, cleaning the mess up. It's not only the malnourishment of just highly processed food, it's also the healing process of the brain. There are really two parts of it. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I love that, because I think what resonates for me when you speak about that is there's this notion of, and so many of us are preconditioned this way, we're almost scared of food a little bit, right? Because it's going to make me bloat, it's going to make me cramp, it's going to make me ... right? And
Right.
I think, many women we have, and men have, varying degrees of that kind of a thing. And then once you actually focus in on it, sometimes it becomes, like you said, it's the thing that you overthink, right? And it starts taking over your life. And I don't know about you, but I kind of feel like once I start overthinking it, literally, it's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy, because I'm thinking about it too much, right? And I don't think it's meant to be that complicated. I mean, even if we think about the most basic beginning of human beings, back to the beginning of time, right? It just seemed that food was available for the nourishment when needed. It was truly fuel. And I've heard you say something like that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would say we had a wonderful balance of actually how we get food and how we digest food and how we need it. Like, let's say the fat storage, the carbohydrate, the whole, how we use the food. And we had way less food back in the days than we have now. And nowadays, the problem is definitely that we are having way too much food available. And it's interesting because there's so many scientists out there where they do a lot of good research of helping us to eat healthy. And the same scientists are hired from like food companies, how to make us addicted to those foods. It's very interesting because the concept is the same, just used in different ways. So yeah, it's fascinating what happened with food.
What do you think about this? Because you're talking and I'm thinking about what we just said. So back in the beginning, when you ate what was plentiful and available to you, there wasn't this counter of these portions of fat and these portions of meat and these portions of carbs and these portions of fruits and vegetables. You just ate.
Correct.
And are we more healthy because we have this meal wheel that we try to suit? Or were they more healthy because they truly saw it as fuel and they ate based on that?
I think that's a really nice take on, because I'm at the point now in my life where food is literally fuel. I have no emotional attachment to food.
That's amazing.
But this is where what is it all about, And this is like a food freedom I want everybody to experience, because it's such it's so time consuming and exhausting, always thinking about food. And I think it's just a nice check-in. If you just would write down every time you think about your meals or food or when you want to eat, how often it actually is. And if you take this all off, how much more time you have for better things. You're way more productive, you know what I'm saying?
So
But,
how does that look on a daily basis? Because I'm trying to get my head around this.
okay.
You know, what was the wonderful phrase that you just said? Food independent?
Food freedom.
Food freedom. Ooh, even better. Food freedom. So what does that mean? Because I'm looking at you, you look fit, you don't look svelte, you look like you eat, right? So it's not, what you're not saying is I'm not eating. You're saying something else. So can we double click on that and just help those of us that are trying to figure out our own lives, what that means?
Okay, what that means is I have a routine where I have real food. Nothing processed. Okay, this is like you want to keep it real, and this is so simple. And this is also where the addiction comes in. Highly processed food, for example, just picture it this way. What happens with highly processed food? We are in Florida, it's really hot. Let's say you take a block of ice, and these are like whole real carbohydrates. Okay. A block of ice, you take it out on your porch and you let the sun shine on it. And it takes forever until this melts. Yes. So it's a steady melting. And this is what happens with real food in your body, like carbohydrates. It's a steady thing. It keeps you calm, no spikes, no craziness. It's zen. It's zen, peaceful food. Now,
what a great visual example. I'm sorry, I just have to acknowledge that. Nobody's ever said anything like that before. A block of ice in the sun. Yeah, you're right. It's not like water immediately. It's sort of going at a pace. And if it's super, super hot, the pace might be faster. And if it's colder, the pace might be slower. What?
Yeah, okay. That's real food, okay? Now let's play this example. Let's put it to the next level. Let's shave that block of ice. Let's process it. Let's make out of this ice like wheat, berries. Let's make bread out of this, okay? Or a cookie out of this, or a little like candy bar or something. So the shaved ice gets spread out the same amount as the block was on your porch in the heat. Guess what? Poof, it melts. And that's how it hits you. And that's how it hits your brain. And that's how it hits your sugar levels. It spikes, it goes up. Your body goes crazy, trying to get leveled. The body always wants to be in balance. The body always wants steady, doesn't want to get hit. So the insulin goes up and down and up and down. And that's your emotional stuff too. You all of a sudden feel those cravings again. And oh my God, you're having like the sugar down after the big hit. What makes you feel good? You know what I'm saying? It's a big hit, a sugar hit. And that hits the brain as well. So now you're trying to get this again, and you're trying with the shaved ice, putting it out on a porch to keep it going. But it doesn't.
And that is wonderful, because taking that example even more, so then that's why too, where you can think you're eating healthy in a processed jungle, and because things are not hitting for a sustainable way, they're hitting in these bursts, you're hungry again like in 10 minutes.
Correct. And that, see, but this is now one side of it. So your body gets hit by this and it gets overworked. You're feeling tired energy by the end of the day. You're just exhausted by all the digestion you're doing. And what happens is, now, worst case scenario, you're sedentary, you're not moving, you're in the office, you're in the car, like, and you go through all of this, and the muscle is not actually able to utilize those spikes, those hits. So the muscle is saturated already with all the food you already ate. So it's like a suitcase totally chock full. And now you're adding more and more and more. At one point, the suitcase can't take anymore. It's full.
Wow.
So it overflows, it overgoes. And that's where you store fat. And that's where your metabolism gets compromised, where insulin resistance and all those things come up, because there is no exchange anymore, no flow in the muscle. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there are two things what happen with the diet and the exercise. Yeah. So yeah, it's a double whammy. You can't really, these are two things what are non-negotiable in my life. It's the exercise is non-negotiable. You have to exercise. You gotta work the body. You gotta work for your hormone health, for bone health, for brain cognitive function, for you name it, you gotta work the muscle. So that's a non-negotiable for me. I gotta lift weights. And the other thing is too, no matter where I go, I always take my body with me. Doesn't matter where I move to, I'll have this one with me. And I want to live in a healthy body. I want to take a healthy body with me. So I take care of my nourishment, of my food. Very important to me. So non-negotiable either. There is no question. Why would I harm myself with junk?
Wow. So, okay. So of course we are inspired minds now, and we want to know, what does, okay, so many questions flooding through. All of them. All right, so inhale, exhale. Whoo, get it out, girls.
Yep.
All right, so here's the first one. Intermittent fasting. You like it, you don't like it.
What is intermittent fasting in your world? What do you understand?
So I'm learning, you know, through the internets and all the things, intermittent fasting can be something that I do for periods of 12 to 16 hours of no eating or rest from eating.
Okay.
I can choose to do it, you know, my last meal of the night, not until, you know, my first meal in the morning, if you will, depending on what time that is, or I can choose to do it in the middle of the day, or I can choose to do it in the evening. Okay. So what do you think of that science, intermittent fasting?
All right. So there are different forms of intermittent fasting. It's some do it like 24 hours and longer. So that's why I was asking. Yeah. So if you say you want to have a longer time window where your digestion can actually have a break. Yeah. My body, for example, likes it a lot. What I make sure though, my first and my last meal of the day are robust. These are the most important meals then, because if you have a long break, you want to have enough protein until you have your first meal. So the last meal is a high protein meal, a robust meal, where I can go through like the time until the morning when I have my first meal, no matter what time that is. That's again a robust meal, because that's the time when your muscle is primed. This is one of the most important meals. Now, I call it the first meal, not breakfast.
I heard that. That did not fall light on me because we've been conditioned that wake up, eat breakfast. But then when you say first meal, that debunks this notion that it has to be, you know, at 6 a.m. versus at 12 noon. It's just your first meal. It's when you break your fast, I think.
Correct. Yeah.
Wow.
It's good because your body gets a break. That's what same thing. There was also this structure back in the days, and this is my bodybuilding background, where I had to feed my body every 2 to 3 hours, and I had a lot of small meals. And actually, it's not necessary. If you have 3 like clean, structured meals per day, perfect. Your body can even get by without, I'm always talking about not losing muscle. I do not want to lose muscle. So that's what I'm saying. 2 meals, you can get by as well. The body can handle it. Okay. You can only eat a certain amount of protein per meal to absorb it for muscle growth, but you want to hit that number at least. And a lot of people, unfortunately, and mostly women, don't hit that number. They have not enough protein in their meals. So that's a problem. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. So now we have to go here. Okay. Before we do, I do have to ask you this then. What do you eat when you say freedom, food freedom? What are you eating? What does a breakfast meal look like? What does take it back. What does a first meal look like? And what does a last meal look like?
Okay.
I'm a quick study health coach, Angela, right? Just saying.
Yep. My first meal is actually, I tend to have savory foods. I like in my first meal having like some sort of eggs. I make frittatas, omelets with a ton of vegetables. And sometimes I have, depending what day I have, I add in carbs as well, like in form of oatmeal or Ezekiel bread or something. And it's always the same amount protein, same amount carbs. I do not like give one or more less. Like it's even. It's the same amount. I run really well with this. Like this is, I do like carbs. I do eat them. Like this is, yeah, I have them. And last meal,
carbs in the form of Ezekiel bread. I mean, okay, so you're actually eating bread. Okay.
It's a sprouted flourless bread.
Yes, it is. Okay. All right. Got it. Cool.
Sweet potatoes, like this is my kind of food I love. Yeah.
Those are good things. Oh my God. Those are good things. And what I hear too is not only are those things that can be yummy, especially with a wonderful palette of seasoning, right?
Oh my gosh, I go all out.
Can be so good. But really I'm not hearing you say something super complicated in that either. Those are things that you can make. Okay, so what does the last meal look like?
Okay, so I was actually plant-based for the longest time. And I learned a lot about being vegan and food combining because now this is a little bit scientific, but hold on tight.
Yes.
From you this one. In order to get the best out of your meal, you have to hit a threshold of one amino acid to actually create protein synthesis, meaning absorbing the protein for repair and growth. Okay. This amino acid is leucine. Every protein is built out of 20 amino acids. Every amino acid has its purpose. They're essential, non-essential. The essential ones we have to get through food. Now, the leucine, the one particular one I'm looking for in the meal, has to be between 2.5 and 3 grams. I know, very scientific. Right?
Yeah.
I studied it and I got really deep into it because I love it so much. You don't have to, but the magic number is for women to hit 30 grams of protein per meal. To hit that leucine number to actually protein synthesis. So this is, I call it the 30G meals. So this is like 30 grams of protein. So I'm saying you have to have like 5-6 ounces of chicken, and animal protein always has the leucine in it. Plant-based protein does not. So you have to combine different plant-based proteins in order to hit that number. And this is the interesting part because I played around with it and it's caloric devastating doing it plant-based because it's so much food that you so many you can't eat it. Like I was not able. So I actually added a supplement to it. To every plant-based meal, I added branched chain amino acids to hit the leucine number to really make sure to build the muscle. So it's interesting with plant-based because we don't see it on any nutritional label. It's very interesting. You see, like if you look at nutritional information with carbs, you see fiber, you see the sugar, you see with the fats, saturated fats, trans fats, they explain everything, and then protein.
That's right. It's just like, it's so easy. Protein.
That's it. But we actually need to look,
Hmm.
hit the right amino acid profile. You always do with animal protein.
Okay.
It's so high quality that you always hit that mark. With plant-based, you have to be smart about it. You have to food combine like nuts and seeds together, grains and legumes together. But to hit that threshold, I did one time. I tried it with quinoa, and it was like I 8 cups of quinoa to get there. Yeah, I know. It's like, nah, I'm not gonna
Let's call that not sustainable.
not sustainable. No. So there are, I mean, I love being plant-based. I feel good with it, but
Yeah.
and this is another thing. There is not one plan fits all. I wish I could say this, but in my 30s, I had no problems being plant-based. Now I'm in my 40s.
Yeah.
And I felt how I couldn't keep up with my muscle. I couldn't keep up with my strength just being plant-based.
Wow.
And there is, by aging, the protein synthesis is not as efficient as it was when you were younger. So younger women can actually go with very little protein and be okay because you utilize it differently. The older you get, the more you have to focus on the protein intake. You want to keep that muscle for your health. Otherwise, you get in trouble. So, yeah, and I'm very focused on that. Like, protein is always my first. In every meal, I make sure I hit at least 30 grams. I sometimes have 40 or 50 grams. Yeah.
Are you doing protein shakes throughout the day as a supplement? Like when you might, feel like a snack and you're like, okay, I can use do you do that as well?
Well, I don't do snacks.
Well, okay. What do we want to call the protein shake? Well, we took out the word breakfast from my vocabulary. What are we taking out for snack? What is a snack now?
I just clean 3 meals, that's it. But like after a workout, for example, if you wanna, because that's another good time, that's a timing time window where you have a prime muscle ready for repair and replenishment, and a protein shake is really good. Okay, here's another thing that's highly processed too. So read the ingredients, and you want a clean product, and make sure it's just protein and not added junk to it. If they add a lot of sugar to it, you don't want to touch it, because then we create craziness again. But if it's a clean, good quality protein, go for it. Yeah, the plant-based protein powders actually have different sources. So there is the complete protein. So they use pea protein, brown rice protein, all kinds of different ones. So they combine it to get the acid profile down. So they're actually very, very good. I like them.
So that's actually my favorite protein to drink is a plant-based protein. I don't know, it just tastes better for me. It sits better on my stomach. The whey-based just does not do it for me. So I'd rather eat that protein as well. And then are you a stickler for grass-fed beef and all the different things that, quite frankly, if I'm very honest, throw some of us off that are early in our journey and we're trying to figure this thing out. And once you get into the smarty pants language, you know what I mean? You naturally feel a little less confident, and then sometimes that sends you way back to the end of the line.
Oh my God, this is I have a funny story with this one.
Share.
I do focus on organic, grass-fed, pastured, but these are all those words. And yeah, I like sometimes just because I'm on the road so much. So my protein are beef sticks or turkey sticks or something easy, very easy. And I just can eat them in the car. And well, I saw advertised grass-fed and finished, and I'm like, grass-fed and finished? What does this mean? I always buy grass-fed. Right?
Yeah, I've never heard that.
I called the company up and asked, what does this mean? So if this is labeled grass-fed, I assumed, and never make assumption, that the animal is fed with grass. Right?
Yeah.
Now, it means that it was one time in its life fed with grass. The rest, I don't. But if it says grass-fed and finished, that means it's been fed with grass all its life. So I know.
So you wait, whoa, mind blown. So when something says grass-fed, and I'm in whatever my favorite healthy food store is, and I'm assuming, oh, this animal has been grazing the grass and that's what they eat. They're not getting all the pellets and the smellets and everything. In order for it to qualify for that label, it means one time, one feeding of grass. It does not mean consistent. So
Correct.
so there has to be this notion of grass-fed and completeness, like
Finished.
their whole life. Wow.
Yeah.
See,
or pasture. So if it's outside, then it had grass. Yes. You know, but if you just read grass fed and not like pasture raised or finished, it's yeah.
See, it's
not right.
It's so, you know what, look, and everybody knows, anybody that listens to this podcast and has gotten to know me, they know I'm a business geek as much as any business geek you've ever met. And so I'm always fascinated by the ways that we can market our way into creative spaces of commercial growth and opportunity, right? Okay, that being said, there is a fine line between marketing and business commercial growth interest and misleading the general population and consumer for your good and gain, and their not so much, right? Wow. Well, I'm so glad you demystified that for so many of us that are trying to do the thing in the store and we just don't know. So a couple things I just want to recap. I heard that as women, in particular women, those born cisgender, whatever, as women, I guess, born as women when they were born. Okay. Trying to get all the language. But for us, having protein, in particular, as we get older, is incredibly useful for us to not only to stay whole and complete, but to recover as well. And we need to try to get at least 30, 40 grams of protein with every serving. I also heard that when we think about the quality of the protein that we're eating, if you happen to be in a meatless diet, then you might have to be really, really critically focused on how you're layering in some special amino acids that are important for us. And then I also heard that we need to let go of this notion of breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and all the snacks in between, and really start letting our bodies live and breathe and process. And that means space, right? And that means that, yes, you're eating every day and you're eating your first meal of the day. Your first meal of the day might just not be 6 a.m. It might be 12 noon, depending on your natural rhythm in your body. So when we lean into a lifestyle this way, do you feel that there is a multiplying effect for us mentally, and also just being in tune with our body and knowing more what we need, what's going on, all the things that in that way?
It's funny how one, like if it spirals down, same thing, it spirals up. So the issues, like it contributes, it goes better and better and better and better and better. The first thing I would say is you start cleaning up your diet to create peace. When you have peace, then you start adding the workouts in. And with the workouts, that's another thing. You want to feel your body. You want to feel how you work the muscle. You want to connect. That's your time. That's the time where you want to be active with the body, not with anything else. So you really want to focus on that. And then the building the strength and the resilience, what you do with your body and your muscles, will come with the mindset, and it will give your soul, same thing, it's food for the soul, having or knowing the strength you are gaining and having the cleanness of the food. Like you're all of a sudden in the driver's seat now. You're in charge and you know what you're doing. And then it becomes automaticity.
Mm.
You're all of a sudden doing it automatically. You're creating habit stacks in your daily life, which benefit you. And an interesting thing is I work with so many clients, and I cannot tell you when it actually starts for you.
Mm.
I clients, they switched and they felt it immediately. I had others, they fought through addiction, up and downs for 6 months, 9 months, but they all got there. And we talk about it and we plan it all out and we have our strategy and we know where we are going. And yeah, then life gets lively and we are not always going that straight line, and we have sometimes detours and we have to take a deep breath, and it's okay. The other thing is too, what I think is very important, if you start changing your life and you want to get healthy, that it's a step-by-step process and you're building from one thing to the other. And if it's a setback, that's okay. It's not always 100%. Don't put too much pressure on it because you want to maintain what you're building. And you always have to be realistic what you can actually add in. If it's a 10-minute walk after your meals and you're just putting this as a little habit stack, as a first step of exercising, when you have never done anything, I'm proud of you. This is great. You're doing the right thing. You're going the right direction. No, we're not trying to get a gold medal in something. No, but we want to improve our health. And this is how you start. And I always say 51% is good. We don't have to give 100% all the time. 51% means you showed up. Wow. You're here. And, you know, like.
That's so good, Angela, because, you know, we talk about proven not perfect and, you know, the quest to put down our desire to be just perfect in the things that we do, right? If you're built a certain way, and you care, you know, and realizing that there is no such thing, right? And so what you're saying, even in this health focused journey where you're thinking about whole body and the elements that fold into it, 51% is great. You're winning. You're actually winning.
You do.
Mm-hmm. All right. So we got to go to the geeky side for a second because it's just me. So you have a wonderful background, which I do want to touch on a little bit. And then I want to talk about the business model that you were building to become more accessible and more available to more people. And the cool thing is, I know my listeners are literally around the world in some amazing places. And I'd love for you to share, you know, a little bit about your background and tell that best kept secret of your medals, because you do have them. I'd love for you to share that. And then tell us a little bit about how we can get more intimately familiar with you and your coaching, even if we don't live, you know, in Southwest Florida.
Okay. So yeah, how do I get into health coaching and personal training is actually a funny story, because my background was actually banking. I was in corporate world. I was a banker, 9 to 5, and I always was interested in sports. And like I said, what I went through, I just got very intense into exercise and diet, was pretty good at it. And I competed in Germany in bodybuilding. Wow. That's how good, because for me, this is my form of art. Everybody is a canvas, and you can sculpture and create a fantastic body with everybody. So this is always a wonderful journey, what I go with my clients now, but what I did with myself. Like I wanted to experience it. I wanted to know how to do it. So I got into bodybuilding. Well, again, life got lively. I had a big breakup, and it was one of the toughest times in my life.
And there, girl, a long time ago, but still was there.
Yeah. And I actually had a breakdown, or I wasn't, it was
Oh,
really
so
bad.
sorry.
So I moved to the States to learn English. And
Wait. So you moved, okay, your breakup, you went from Germany to the US and not necessarily with fluent English. Okay, noted.
yeah, I didn't speak any English.
None?
None.
Jeez.
I went to Hutchins University to learn English as a second language. I liked it so much here. I got an internship at a bank. I wanted to stay and did again. See, this is also another thing. I did what I was trained to do and what's the right thing to do, but it was not my truth. It was not my authentic self. I was in banking, trying really hard, and I made no money. It was a struggle. But anyway, my immigration lawyer said there's no way. I hit roadblock after roadblock, no after no after no, and they said I can't get a work visa as a banker because there are too many. And I'm like, well, I really want to stay here. I do not want to go back. Are there any other options? And my immigration lawyer said, if you have any extraordinary skills, we can use that. And I said, well, the only extraordinary skill I have is lift things up and put them down. I can lift weights really, really good. So she said, well, if you do something in bodybuilding and if you get a world champion title, you get a green card.
You're
And
kidding me. That's a thing?
that's the thing. It's called extraordinary alien.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm a little saddened that that's the title, but okay.
Yeah. That's what it is officially.
Yeah.
So I went to the drawing board, did my diet, planned my exercise program, and I cannot tell you, I envisioned it every day. What I do when I'm on stage, I saw myself every day doing my posing. And I had this literally tunnel vision, and I said, there is no more no in my life. This is what I want to do. I want this green card. And I competed in Miss Florida to try it out.
Wow.
Miss Florida, got qualified for Team USA, went to Los Angeles, did Miss USA, which was a big show. I won Miss
You
USA.
think? What?
Yep, that was, I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking about
I'm
it.
getting goosebumps because you're telling me your journey, and I'm hearing when we put our mind to something with clarity, with conviction and focus, and block all the noise,
All the noise.
things happen. And that means saying no when your heart might have said yes.
Correct. You got it. Yep.
So here you
There
are,
was-
Miss USA.
Mhm.
What did it stop there? Did it keep going?
And I had to get that green card. So little things, but this is what helps. And like I said, I was actually seeing it. I got an American flag bikini because I wanted to be in the finals at the Miss Universe show. I was qualified for the Miss Universe. I was able to represent the United States.
Wow. What a privilege, first of all. What a privilege.
It was, and that's why, I mean, I can't let this country down.
Yes.
Like, it was, there is a lot of,
Our country doesn't always get it right, but I do believe that it takes all of us being convicted to own it, right? To own it. Yeah.
yep, absolutely. Yeah. And yeah, I prepped, and it was a long time of dieting, but I cannot even tell you. Like I said, I saw myself on that stage in this bikini. I wanted to show it. I wanted to be in the finals, and I just kept going every day, every day. I practiced my, if you would have played my posing song in the middle of the night, I would have jumped out of bed and I would have done it. I'm like, I know my song. And was actually, yep, that's what it was. Oh my gosh. It was Here She Stands by Michael W. Smith. I remember about the American flag.
Wait, is that Here She Stands? Oh, wait, I don't even know. I
Now
won't
it's
even
about,
try to sing.
Hey, but the song is about the American flag after September 11th, and she was still,
Oh, Lord
yeah,
Jesus. Okay.
yeah, still standing. So I'm like, I'm still standing. So this is,
Girl, wow. What conviction, what faith,
yeah,
what
yeah.
purpose. Hmm.
And I went there. I had a really good day. I felt it. It was just, when everything just is perfect. Your shape is great. You feel great. It was craziness backstage. And I just was hiding actually backstage, listening to my music, what I'm going to do. And I remember looking at that list where you see the name of the final 6 competitors, and my name was on it. And I'm like, wow, I can't believe I can wear the bikini. I'm doing it. And I was shining on that stage. That was my moment. I loved every second of it. I loved it. I owned it. That was just great. I love being on stage. And yeah, that was a big moment for me. And um, representing the States, that moment was exciting. It was just big. And yeah, we were all lined up and they're counting down place 6, place 5, place 4. And I'm like still standing. I'm like, wow, top 3. I can't even. They announced number 3. I'm like, wow, okay. They announced number 2. And you can actually see in the video how I checked my number because I couldn't believe that I won that show. I mean,
Oh, chills, Angela. Girl, stop. I
yeah.
love it. Oh, that's so good. I
And
I feel like I'm there with you in that moment.
oh, it was fantastic. But this was the moment, interestingly, where I felt relief. Everybody asked me, how did you feel after winning Miss Universe? Were you happy? No, I was relieved. Was
Wow.
relieved. The happiest I was the preparation.
Yeah.
Ev- That was my happy groove. I can't even explain it. The
Yeah.
journey of getting there, looking in the mirror and like, okay, this muscle just came out tonight, or whatever. Still good and energized and whatever it was, checking in, that was where my happiness was. The
Wow.
win was a relief. That was my big takeaway, because I thought it's this big moment, but it actually wasn't. um yeah, it was relief. And I had such peace and
Oof.
knowing, yeah, that I can stay. And it was amazing. I was so actually tired, and yeah,
Wow.
way that I missed my flight.
Angela, that is so beautiful. I'm so grateful for you sharing that. I think we live in this world right now where, in particular, it's hard to understand the mindset of anyone who is drawn to a different land. And to have such desire and passion to be a part of a land is a real thing, right? And I appreciate you for acknowledging this land. Even like I said, this land isn't perfect, right? Anybody that thinks that doesn't get the whole point of proving not perfect. But I do think that this land consists of lots of people who have continued to try and push and to make it better, make themselves better, and be compassionate more for others, right? So I hope that that brand never changes.
Yes, yes. And yeah, when I came back, that's what I did. I changed my profession. I made my passion my profession. I
Wow.
did. I'm what I truthfully want, where you meet the real Angela. And what I love now is helping women to actually get to the next level in their health journey, understanding the importance of muscle, understanding the diet, understanding a healthy lifestyle, understanding having happiness in their life. And this is what I care about, and what I wish can every woman have. And it's doable and totally achievable. And people should not be discouraged. And I'm the one who guides you and helps you, and I'm there for you, and I like to support. And this is true passion and my true calling. And this is what I like doing. And this is why I don't compete anymore, because it's not about me anymore. It's about being on stage, looking good. And it's funny how life changes, and I changed. And this was so important back in the days, and it's not anymore. I
You and I talked about that earlier, right? Where we have got to acknowledge that as we're journeying through this life, there are things that are our North Star that we are working toward obtaining in our life.
Right.
And then you can get to that place and realize, okay, I'm here. Okay, I achieved this. This isn't serving me in the way that I envisioned for longer, or as long as I thought it would. And you're drawn to something else. And I think that's what makes it a journey.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And I think it's important, like what was important to me, and this is what makes my day and makes me go, is actually hope.
Ooh.
Help one person every day.
Yes.
Help one person every day.
Wow.
And that changes your perspective.
Praise God. Girl, you taking me to church. And you know, look, you already know my faith is high. And I just believe, help one person every day. Amen. I believe that's our assignment.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm doing every day. This is like on my checklist, because I like my checklist. Anyway, yeah.
Well, I'm excited for the collaborations that I see to come between Proven Not Perfect and Health Coach Angela, and the things that you're doing. I see space for you coming back to Proven Not Perfect. I see space for us maybe even collaborating on experiences. And I'm putting it out there because I see it. Almost as much as you did getting on stage, and you know, having rehearsed what that would feel like so many times. I see it. So I'm just letting you know what I see.
All done. I say we're on our way. That's for sure.
We are.
Yeah.
Well, there's going to be so much more to follow. I know you're doing videos.
Yes, I'm creating right now a course. So I give all the knowledge where women can actually learn at their pace, at home, what they can do to improve their exercise, their nutrition, their sleep, like the mindset. I put it all in the course, and I'm planning on having like group calls where you can join in and ask me questions, and I will be with you. I don't want you to just have the course and leave it.
I love that.
There will be support, and then you can find me on Instagram as well. Yeah.
So if we follow you at Health Coach Angela on Instagram, is that going to be the best place for us to get all the updates about the new courses and series and how to sign on? Okay, great. So Health Coach Angela on Instagram, you guys, you have to follow. That's where we're all going to see what's to come, and trust and believe she's going to be back on Proven Not Perfect. In fact, I learned that Angela is also interested in reading interesting, inspiring books. And so I'm going to do a really fun segment with Health Coach Angela and Dr. Christina Zalinas, who I did a podcast with probably, I think in 2021. She's a gynecologist and OBGYN, and, or do you say OBGYN? Yeah, I think that's what you said. But more importantly, she is a woman's doctor. I'm going to say it that way. And we're going to collaborate here in just a week or so, where we're going to do a little bit of a book club around the book Outlive. So if you want to listen to our segment with some knowledge of what we read, go ahead and download and get for yourself the book Outlive by Peter Attia. We're going to be breaking that book down. We're going to be breaking it down 3 ways. We have Angela, who is our functional nutritionist and weightlifting extraordinaire around healthy lifestyle for women. We have Dr. Christina Zalinas, who is a woman's doctor. And I'm telling you, from the rooter to the tutor, everything, right? She's all about your mental as well as your physical, as well as your just female being. Just a beautiful, beautiful soul. And then me, the curious listener and questioner and just trying to get it right. So between the three of us, we're going to try to unpack that book. And so I'm hoping that you'll join us for that segment too, which we'll be featuring in a couple weeks. All right. Well, sis, it's been an absolute pleasure to spend time with you.
Same
You
here.
are amazing. And I know that so many people are going to be blessed just from the little morsels that you gave. But these morsels for everybody there's so much more food to go with these morsels. But we'll find that out when we follow her and get more information about the cool things that she's going to be doing. And we can now all say that we've had an intimate conversation with a Miss Universe. Hello. Just saying. Yes, and one that can actually lift higher and better than the boys. Like, I'm not just talking about bathing suit without a cause. I'm talking about bathing suit with backpacking and all the things.
Well, I like weights. What can I say?
So look, now that I've embarrassed you terribly, I'm gonna let you go. Peace and love, and I will see you soon.
Yeah, same to you. Thank you so much for having me. Have a good one.
Thank you.